Hey everybody, welcome to the FN Studios. This is Fight News Now Extra. I'm John Ramdeen. He's Robin Black. Yesterday in studio, Chris Weidman here talking about this upcoming fight against Luke Rockhold. We believe, because when you think about it objectively, how far mixed martial arts has come. You look at the pinnacle of athletes in their prime at the highest level skill set of mixed martial arts, the training as well. You look back to Robbie Lawler and Rory McDonald, a sensational fight. And you see when two athletes have every tool available to them, the strength and conditioning, all of that, what they're capable of. And I anticipate that a fight between Rockhold and Chris Weidman, very similar to this fight. At the end of the day, they talk about mental strength. And when these guys go into battle, that they're going to need that mental strength to get them through the 25 minutes. Yeah,
hey man, why do you watch fighting? You know, why do you watch any sport? Why are we watching the elite of the elite do anything? Because we're all watching, we're all sitting there, we're reading the magazines, we're on the internet, we're looking at these things. Why are we doing that? I believe on some level we're doing that for inspiration. We're doing that for knowledge. We're doing that to learn what's possible. Chris Weidman sat here with us and explained to us how he's become one of the greatest athletes in the world, how he's become one of the greatest fighters in human history. And you know what? It's not an easy answer. Nothing but hard work, and more hard work. Failure, challenging yourself to the limit, sometimes failing and working through it. That to me is inspiring. Luke Rockhold on the other end, doing exactly the same thing. He's been doing it for his career as well. He's built himself into this monster, and we get to see them compete with each other. That is very, very rare in human history, and it's very, very special.
You pointed it out, since the experiment of no holds barred turned into mixed martial arts, we saw Royce Gracie, jiu-jitsu dominating, and then the wrestlers came in, then the rest of the world, the kickboxers, learned some wrestling, implemented kickboxing, then there was strength and conditioning, and so on and so forth, and we have the experiment that we have right now, and now it seems that mental strength is that next level. We had the chance when we were coming back from Prestige FC to take the shuttle with Ayman Zahabi, and he said he spoke to George St. Pierre, and it says, you know, obviously, hard work will get you to the top 15, of course, along with good coaching and good training partners. To get into that top 10 is something completely different. But when you get to be the #1 and #2 guys battling for the title, it is all about mental focus. You cannot waver. We talked to Dustin Ortiz also over the weekend. There's no partying. There's no, he stays on point. Yanni Sherbatov, the brother of Boris Sherbatov, he doesn't come out with us when we go to Montreal. He goes home. He spends his time recovering from the hard work he spent. It's all about sacrifice, because if you have your eye on that prize, it is all about sacrifice.
Yeah, if you are really digging into what's going on here. Again, it depends why you're fascinated in this. If you just like the chaos has never been bigger. The chaos has never been more exciting in the fight. But
only because these guys have been mentally sharp to put themselves at that point. You look at Robbie Lawler and Rory McDonald, the way that they were able to showcase the beauty of mixed martial arts is through sacrifice, is through dedication, which builds mental strength.
Yeah, well, that's what I was getting at. If you just want to stand back and go, oh my God, fighting is crazy, we've never seen fighting this good, that's 100% true. Absorb it. You don't have to watch fighting every single day. Sometimes you'll watch it once a month, but you're going to be blown away by what level these guys are working on and these women are working on. But if you are curious to dig in, it's never been more fascinating. They are jockeying for advantages just like people always have, but now those advantages are subtle. It's in the allotment of time. How are you going to train over the next few years? Because 2 years from now, I'm going to find out if me dedicating this much time over here while you dedicated that much time over there, combined with where we've built our minds, how we've grown mentally, all of those things are in play. Fighting has never been more complex than it is right now. But when it gets right down to it, when Robbie and Rory stand in there, and when Chris and Rockhold stand in there, in some ways it's never been simpler.
Well, what's amazing to me is that if you look at singular martial arts, you look at jiu-jitsu, for example, or you look at karate, you talk to some of the great masters of that specific art, and they will say you will never be able to master this art. It's an evolving sport. So when you think about wrestling, jiu-jitsu, strength and conditioning, boxing, all of these different facets of mixed martial arts, and you're trying to figure out how much time do I allot to that? Because as you pointed out, you only have so much time to dedicate to these things. Is there room for growth, or is it simply, okay, we just got to throw out the things that don't work, focus on what works, but how can the sport progress?
Well, when people are driven for answers, when they're driven to overcome obstacles, that's who these people are. That's who the top hockey players are. That's who the top basketball players are. That's who the greatest artists are. That's who the top tech people are. When you find a limit, this is all we can do, then they find ways to be able to be more efficient. Maybe we can do more. What if we meditate during these hours? What if we move our sleep patterns around? What if we grow mentally so we can absorb more? That's the limits of humanity that are being pushed by the greatest of the greats in everything. If we are watching fighting, if we are watching Weidman versus Rockhold, and we're watching it at the highest level, we can study it here. But people can study this, whatever you're into. The people who are creating the elite of the elite in video games, the people who are the top tech people, the people who are on the tops of everything. But you got to ask yourself, why are we watching this? Why are we just trying to be entertained while we just, the thing circles the sun a whole bunch of times and then we're gone? Or are we trying to learn something and grow as people? Because that's available to us.
And one thing about martial arts is it's individual. As much as we talk about Chris Weidman and Luke Rockhold being well-rounded, maybe the most well-rounded the sport has ever seen, they're still two very different individuals that do things differently. Conor McGregor, for example, a lot of people out there say, oh, you know, his takedown defense, it's not where it needs to be. Well, not if your getting up abilities are as good as they need to be and you focus on other things. Sure, take him down, but he's going to get back up. And when he does get back up, he's going to punish you. So is it really that important that he learns to be a great wrestler and stop every takedown? Or should he spend more time doing the things that he wants to do? Because we've talked to fighters and they say, I'm not concerned with what my opponent brings to the table. I got to do my game.
You got to grow in everything. You have to, because the other guys are. You got to spend more time than everybody else. And that's right back to Chris Weidman. When he takes that walk towards that cage wearing a pair of tight underpants and there's a professional athlete, one of the best in the world, ready to kill him, that walk, he knows nobody's ever outworked me. Nobody can outwork me. You need those fundamental building blocks in there. But it is interesting when I look at Conor McGregor's win over Chad Mendes. Eamon was one of those people, and Louis from his team, who performed beautifully last weekend, and many other people. They looked at that as exposing weaknesses in him. I looked at that as exposing ultimate strengths in him. Even when he's on the wrong end of things, he'll find a way. They'll say, oh, Chad Mendes was tired. You get speared. You get toe stabbed in the body a few times. You make him tired. You need him to be tired to win that fight? Make him tired. That Conor McGregor's win over Chad Mendes told me more things about his strengths for certain than it did about his weaknesses.
Conor McGregor, of course, battles Jose Aldo on the same card that Luke Rockhold battles Chris Weidman for the middleweight championship. That's it for us. Don't go anywhere. More FNE is up next.